Alright, the last wire I need to put this up isn't coming for 3 more days, but I got this aluminum bracket out and I'm gonna attach it to this in landscape, like up and down's landscape, and the other way is considered portrait, the style of hanging. So I'm gonna hang it up in landscape so we can put it on the side of the building so it'll go flush against the building when it's laid down, and then you can angle it up. Depending on the time of the year, you know, the angle will change. But yeah, I got some bolts and a bunch of stuff in this bag over here, and I'm gonna put bolt and washers there and there and there and there. And I want the shorter space to be on the top here. I want there to be enough space that I can get to the knob here that's gonna like attach the 2 pieces of the bracket, but like on the other side there's a lot more space, so I don't want so much space on the top here, so when it's angled up there's only a little bit of a gap for weather and stuff to get behind the panel. Won't be able to keep everything from getting behind the panel, but that should prevent it. That should make it so there's a lot less weather getting behind the panel. If I put this side on the top, there would be a lot more space when it was angled out. So it'll be easier to explain that once I get it on the side of the building, but I'm gonna get this bracket all put on so when the rest of this comes in the next couple days, I can just put it up real quick, and then we'll have this power all set up. Man, it was cold in here this morning. I let the stove go out last night and it was like 0 degrees when I woke up, so it was like probably like 40 degrees in here. And my feet are still cold, but it's finally warm in here right now. But here we go. See, all attached, bolts and washers. And now she's all sturdy. And now I'm gonna just lean this up against the wall for the next couple days, and then the other half of the frame, we'll have to bring this out to the side of the building and then mark it off. So the other half of the frame will be lined up where it needs to be. And then I'll put those on the building. I still have to figure out what kind of fasteners I'm going to use to hook it onto the building, because it came with some screws for that, but the screws are really made for putting them on something else. That really made for putting them on like a metal frame on top of an RV. That's what these brackets are for. But I might have to use some like 3-inch wood screws, and hopefully this thing will line up in a way where it's sitting on the studs. At least one side will be on the studs, and then the other side might not be lined up with the stud, but hopefully it will be hopefully I'll be able to get it on there well enough that it's secure and it doesn't take any of the siding off of the building. So yeah, a couple more days I'll bring you guys out and we'll hook this all up on the side of the building. And yeah, it's super exciting. Solar, permanent solar. 2 days away from being here for 1 full year. Pretty crazy. The year went by real quick. But here I am with this solar panel laid back out. And I think I'm going to move this bracket. Well, I'm trying to think of which bracket. Yeah, I think I should move this bracket over, because this spanse right here isn't 16 on center. And when I hook this to the outside of the building, I want to be able to put that support bracket that connects to this one, those right there, I want those to be drilled into a stud, you know. So you know, one side I could drill into a stud, but if I left it set up like this side would be basically anchored into just the wood siding on the building, which isn't going to be good enough. We get really strong wind and stuff out here. So if I move it over to this hole, it would be 16 on center. So I guess that's what I'm going to do, so it lines up with the studs out there. We can get this attached really solid when we get it out there. Alright, it's overcast outside now. It's supposed to snow tonight, but that means there's no good light in the cabin. But I spread these out, you see they're not evenly spread out now. You know, originally they were, but this is 32 inches here, which will put them 16 on center. That way I'm drilling this bracket into the studs on the side of the building. So I got those brackets out there with the first bolt holding them in. So we'll go check that out, and then I'll get you set up on the tripod. Alright, it's kind of windy out here, but here are the two brackets. And the spacing is most important at the very top, because that needs to be fixed all the time really close. On the bottom though, because I want it to sit flush against the building with no rattle, so the bottom's important too. But usually when you use this bracket, you're just bracing it at an angle, and it wouldn't really matter if the bottoms are, you know, flared out a teeny bit. But we're gonna try to get them as straight as possible, so when we put the panel down flush against the building, it doesn't have any wiggle room, because we get really high wind out here. So there it is. It came with some self-tapping screws, which is what I'm using, and they drilled a nice hole, and I could feel them gripping the stud in there. So it should be pretty sturdy. But now I got to bring the panel out here. We're going to put the panel up one more time to make sure it's spaced right, and then lay it down flat and mark the bottoms out where we really want them to be, and then we'll take the panel off again and put like 3 or 4 more screws right here holding it permanently, and then we'll put the panel back on, and we should be pretty much done. So yeah, I can get this going. It's gonna snow tonight. That's it. Looks like it's gonna fit. Alright, now they're marked out, so now I'm just gonna secure that permanently, and then we'll bring the panel back out and we'll put it on there permanently. It's actually a 3/8. Felt like the 3/8 was too loose, but the 10 mil didn't work. Well, that should be strong enough for a 100-watt panel at least. I might go through and get some washers and some 3-inch deck screws. Put some of those in there too, just to make sure. You know, might be overkill, but looks like it's gonna be good for now. Should be fine. Looks pretty tight and solid. I'm gonna go get the panel. We'll get this thing hung. just little knobs with wing nuts. So that makes it pretty easy. No tools to adjust it. Not bad. We're gonna get snow tonight, so I don't know that I want to angle them out, because that's why we're putting it on the side of the building, so that way snow can come off and we can keep it flush against the building when it's gonna snow. That way I don't have to worry about, you know, huge piles of snow taking the panel off. Yeah, so when it's flat against the building, I'll put the knobs in on the bottom that will keep it so when the wind blows it can't like go back and forth, which means these, which are the braces, these go in like that to angle it, that. But whenever I'm running the panel flush against the wall, I'll take these brackets and a set of the knobs and just put them in the cabin. And then two sets of the knobs I'll keep on there to keep them on strong. I still got to put one set on here. See, like that, now it doesn't flap. You can't angle it until you take that one out. But I have one more knob to do, but I'm gonna save the battery on the camera here. So now we just gotta wire it up, and I guess I should drill the hole and try to do that right now so that wire isn't exposed back there to the weather tonight when it snows. Back in the horrible lighting of the cabin. So I have a hole out there that's this big that we put on the other side of this window to run this lamp that we have here. But now that lamp runs to a battery pack because the solar panel that came with it was shitty and it died. But the best thing to do is to remove this panel of wood, which is already cracked from me removing it once already, and then put that hole, the hole that's out there for this thing, we just make it a little bit bigger. So we have a hole that's as big as this bit right here, which is quite a bit smaller than this thing. But what we need is we need a hole that's big enough to fit this through and a piece of wire, because there's two of these. So you're going to put one through and then there's going to be wire there, and then you're going to have to put the other one through. So the hole has to be big enough to fit this wire and one of these. Actually a male one, so not the same exact one, but a male MC4. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know, I might not set you up for it. I'll probably bring you guys back once the hole's done and the wire's pushed through, because I got to rip this panel off with a cat's claw and get up in there without getting insulation all over everything. I don't think I'm going to bring you guys along for that. So wish me luck. Hopefully it'll be done in a second here. Well, I had to make the hole pretty damn big, but we'll just fill that with silicone when we're done, and the wires are all stapled up and everything. But I don't think I'm going to get to that today. I just wanted to get those wires hooked up so they weren't getting snow in them and stuff. You know, they're waterproof once they're all put together, but when they're not put together, they're not. So yeah, I got that all put together, and I'm going to try to run these wires and get them up against the building before it starts snowing. I only got like an hour left, and then it's going to get dark and start snowing. But yeah, freaking A, finally, permanent power on the building. I'm psyched. Alright, there it is. couple zip ties on it, and I put a hook in the corner of this window, where it can't be seen afterwards if I decide to move things. And it's all ran down and all hooked up and should be waterproof now. So the clouds are pretty much coming in, so it's not really going to be making much power. I'm going to go inside the cabin and plug it into the battery, and it's going to be crazy to just always have power in that battery. Once it's spring, now that it's spring, almost spring, we'll definitely have enough power in this cabin all the time that I could plug in my phone or use the laptop as much as I want. Now that I have this up permanently, it will make enough power for what I do, at least. Eventually I'll need more to do more stuff, but I just use my phone and my laptop, and this will be enough power to keep that going all the time. Yeah, awesome. Mission accomplished. Let's go take a look at inside. Well, there's a wedge of siding that I was supposed to put on before I put that board on. So I'm gonna have to take it back down. There's only one nail in it, and I left it sticking out so I could pull it out easy. But that's a pain in the butt. Wish I realized that. But we're gonna move this battery up to the shelf, which everything fell off of when I was banging on the wall. And then those are the two wires running into the cabin. Pretty sick. It's almost dark in here though. Oh, there she goes. That's the cord hooked onto the adapter. And that's where the AC outlets are on that thing. It's complete cloud cover out there pretty much right now, so I'm not expecting it to do much charging, but that red light means that it is charging on the solar right now. So there it is. That battery pack will just stay there, and hopefully it'll be charged all the time, and then I can just plug into that, and that's the power for the cabin now. And I'll get something pretty similar to this when I build the house eventually, but just much bigger. But all the little cabins I have on the property will have a setup pretty much like this. 100 to 200 watts of solar and a battery pack that you can plug into. Well, there we go, my off-grid power. We'll see how long it takes before I feel like I've outgrown this. Eventually I want 600 watts, and I want enough solar power that I can run an AC for 4 hours a day during the hottest time. That's a dream, but someday that's the solar power goals. Because in the summer it's just awful. Like winter we can keep it warm in this cabin no problem with firewood. But in the summer when it's really muggy and awful, yeah, you definitely want some AC for, you run an AC for the four hottest hours of the day, or from like noon to about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, so maybe 6 hours a day if you can. That'd make a world of difference. Oh nice, we got up to 19%. So it is charging. But there's no sun right now, so it's not going to charge fast. Alright, sweet. And for anybody wondering, the solar panel and the angle brace we installed today in this video was made by Renogy. Available on Amazon. The brace was $32 at the time of this video, and it's considered the small brace. They sell 2 different sizes, or angle bracket is what they're called. And the panel was a 100-watt Renogy solar panel, which I own a couple of. This one's going to be going on the water well this year. Yeah, I'm happy with the product. This bracket seemed to work out really good for what we did today. Uncle Dave with DEECEE's Adventures. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. See you on the next video.